Good morning, everybody. And some of you might be good afternoon. I noticed I had the wrong countdown on there, but here we are. um, so it's great to see everybody. Let us know if you're on live with us. I see over here on my phone that we have a few of you who are on live. So just chat. We'll give you a shout out if you're on live. And as we get this going, I know more will come on live. If you're on Team Replay, let us know in the chat also. We have this broadcasting all over the place. So I got my buddy Bobby Umar with me. And Bobby's a 5 times TEDx speaker and a LinkedIn top voice. So we got some good stuff to talk about here, especially how a TEDx can amplify your trust and authority and generate more leads and sales for your business. So we want to chat a little bit about this today, take some questions if anybody's on live with us, and we'll take it step by step from there. But Bobby, good morning.
Morning, and happy to be here. Excited to be part of this conversation. I'm just trying to, and I'm letting people know. It's funny that the date was also wrong on the image, so hopefully people, get it. And I'm trying to also go live on Instagram because it wasn't working. So hopefully this works. But no, I mean, look, I'm excited to do this because we don't do this very often, and it's going to be kind of special. So I definitely hope that you guys will take advantage of this and be part of the conversation. Because look, if you have any question about TEDx, how to leverage it for your brand, your authority, how to do more speaking, how to get more media appearances, how to then use to use it as a vehicle or I call it a vehicle to really amplify and as the flagship vehicle of your brand, your authority, your trust, and start getting more leads and more business. This is kind of really what this is all about. And I've been doing TEDx stuff for a long time now, and it's something I'm very passionate about. And I hope you guys will certainly take advantage of this conversation and also take advantage of the expertise that Chris has, because he's great at business building and funnels and growing what you're trying to do. So that's really kind of what we're talking about today. And happy to be here. I guess I didn't say much about myself, but so I'm a 5-time TEDx speaker. I'm a 4-time TEDx invite decliner. I am a 2-time LinkedIn top voice. I also have been a motivational speaker for 25 years. Over the last 25 years, I've done 1,000 keynotes workshops across 4 continents. Mostly, and they're usually talking about soft skill leadership, but then I started becoming an expert in personal branding. I started talking about networking and authentic connection, then digital marketing and influence. Now I talk about vulnerable storytelling and how to leverage LinkedIn and other digital platforms. So I and all those things I bring to my clients, because what I realized with the TEDx piece was that TEDx was something people wanted to land, but then I realized, they want to land it for some reason. And so now we know the reason is because they want to leverage it for something. So once I show you the process and we land the TEDx talk, now how are we going to leverage it for your brand, your authority, your trust? So that's kind of what we've been doing. And Chris and I worked together on several challenges back in 2024 and 2025. And then actually we stopped. Mostly because I was exploring a new angle to a new funnel. One of the things I've learned in life is that focus really matters. When you try to be everywhere all at once, it's complicated and confusing. So I just said one funnel. This is how people reach me. This is what I'm going to do. But Chris and I have been talking about, and we were doing them really often. We were doing them every 2 months, right?
Yeah.
But we're like, okay, let's let some time go. So now it's been, I think, almost a year since we did the last one. So I'm not sure how often we'll do them yearly or maybe twice a year, but for the most part, we're not going to do them as often. So this is a big deal. I want you guys to take advantage of this. And that's why that link is up there, because you click the link and see what it's all about. And you don't have to, but click the link, see what it's all about, because we're running a 5-day challenge. You're going to have 5 days, 1 hour each day with me and Chris, taking you through the entire process and journey of TEDx. So that's what it's all about. I hope you guys will take advantage of it.
And I popped up the QR code. There's 2 places you can check this out as we go through this. You just hit that QR code. It takes you right to the challenge page. And we'll talk about it a little bit more at the end. And then right below Bobby, I'm going to pull that off Bobby a second there, but you can see right below him where you can pull up and hit that QR code. So if you're on there. And like I said, I see a bunch of you on live with us. Just give us a shout out. Let us know where you're coming in from. We'll give you a shout out back. But yeah, we're kind of excited about this conversation. Bobby and I started on this journey, like he said, many, many years ago. We've known each other for a long time. And, I've always helped people really amplify their impact out in this world by using 5-day challenges, quite frankly, because it gives people an experience to actually feel what it's like to be in a position to take the next step. Like, in our 5-day challenge, we get you to a point like, okay, I now realize a 5-day challenge, a TEDx is for me. I now understand how to really start to put this together. Yeah, I need more, but it gets you sold on how to get on that stage. And that's really what we're trying to do with the 5-day challenge. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I can tell you the TEDx part of this. I've worked with Bobby enough and I've seen what it does for his clients. Not only him, he'll tell you his story as we go throughout this, but I also see what it does for his clients because I'm on the back end of all this stuff, right? So not only the excitement, holy cow, this really happened, but that moment they walk on stage and they're like, here it is. This is what I've always wanted to do. So shout out to so many of you that have worked with Bobby. And if you're on live with us, just let us know, drop the link to your TEDx talk in there. Like, we'd like other people to see this. But Bobby, let's talk about this. Like, why don't you talk about what got you to do your first TEDx before we get into this conversation? I never really asked you that question. So I threw this one out of the blue.
Sure. Yeah. So I didn't know. I mean, I was a speaker for at that point, a few years. I started my speaking business like 20 years ago, the official speaking business, and I had an intern in the summer, summer of 2010. And he approached me, he wanted to work with me. He liked what I was doing. I met him at the conference where I spoke at, and it was great. But then one day he reached out to me and said, "Hey, Bobby, you got to come to my conference I'm running. It's called TEDx. You got to come speak. I'd love for you to speak." And I was like, "TEDx, what's that?" And so I looked it up and I was like, wow, like some of the world's most prominent scientists, philosophers, business leaders, political leaders, sports heroes, celebrities, doctors, engineers, tech people, artists. I was like, man, like some of the biggest names in the world in those across the board, we're doing this. And I'd never seen anything like that before. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because, there's business conferences and there's science conferences, and, but I'd never seen anything like that. They were all under this one kind of banner. And so I said, okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And he was running it through his school. So I had to take a train to where he was at. It was about like a two-hour train ride. And yeah, and I also saw that the potential, what I saw was the video. Like at the time, I wasn't thinking about the branding. I was thinking about the video. I was like, the videos look really sleek and sophisticated. If I can get a video like that for my speaking business, I think that would be great. And so, yeah, so then that's kind of what I did. I did that. I worked really hard in that TEDx talk. Tell the story of your life, go deep in your personal story, give us some key nuggets, minimal slides, and under 18 minutes. Like, it was pretty challenging as a speaker myself. And no, it went great. I mean, that one was phenomenal. The video was fantastic. It was a huge marketing tool. The brand of TEDx was really great. And what I tell people, the data is quite powerful. That year, and my TEDx launched March 5th, 2011. And the video came out, I think, about a month later. But essentially, that year, my speaking fee jumped 2.5 times.
Nice.
The number of speaking gigs I got that year increased by 40%. And I started traveling around the world speaking. So that really changed a lot for me in terms of what I was doing. And that's kind of why I embraced even more TEDx talks like that. I got 3 more TEDx talks within about a year and a half. So within 2 years, I was a 4-time TEDx speaker, not just a TEDx speaker, but a 4-time TEDx speaker. And then years went by where someone said, "Hey, Bobby, there's a TEDx talk about, connection. And that's your brand." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you know what? Let me pitch one." So I went to the office over there and I pitched one via a quick 3-minute video. The next day they called me and said, "We want you on stage." So I did my 5th TEDx talk. And that also made me realize that I'm good at pitching because I knew exactly what to say. And they would say, what's your fastest client? I said, the fastest client was 2 months. But actually, technically, the fastest client was me. I got one in 1 day. So 24-hour pitch, and I got it. So, wow. Yeah, so that's the original story.
I didn't know some of those parts of that story. And now, 2011, here it is, 2026. So 15 years later, time flies, huh?
Yeah, totally. The gray hair speaks volumes.
Yeah. So like you've helped, countless and countless people land on TEDx stages. We could say your name off who and all that. Like, what's one of the first things when somebody comes to you and says, "Bobby, this TEDx thing, what is it going to do for me?" Like, what's one of the first things you start to tell people? Obviously you gave some highlights there, but what do you tell a person that just comes out of the blue and says that to you?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't quite get it. Like, they understand that it's branding, Okay, that's fine. So they get that. But here's the thing, like, let's say you're a business owner, right? If you reach out to someone, actually, the perfect example is our friend John McGraw, who
Yeah.
he landed 2 TEDx talks through our program within a span of a couple of weeks, and he did them in January and March 2026. And the thing is, like, and his expertise is he's an intercultural, cross-cultural expert in the workplace, right? So when he reaches out, so here's all the ways it's going to benefit you. Number one, on his profile, it says 2-time TEDx speaker, cross-cultural expert, and that automatically positions him as a storyteller, an authority figure, an expert, a coach, a consultant in this area. So now more people are reaching out to him saying, hey, can you help our organization? Hey, can we talk about cross-cultural expertise? Then he started running events on this topic. And people are like, hey, this is going to be hosted by a 2-time TEDx speaker on cross-cultural expertise. I should go to this event to learn more about cross-cultural expertise. And so now more people go to his event.
Yeah.
Then he reaches out to companies, organizations, and when he reaches out to them, they see his title and they're like, oh, so now they're more likely to respond to his message, email, or let's say a LinkedIn DM. And then and that works for me too. Like when I reach out to people and say it says 5-time TEDx speaker, 2-time top voice, they're more likely to respond to me that I'm legit versus just like, salesman, like it's different. So that they're more likely to want to talk. And then when they get on the call with you, they're more likely to trust your authority and expertise and recommendations of what to move forward. They're more likely to close quicker. Like instead of having 6-7 calls, 2 or 3 calls in, they're more likely to close. And then they're still more likely to close because there's greater trust. Because when you invest in someone's program or services or coaching, you want to trust that person. So once you're getting the call and you've built that up, it's great. And then finally, the biggest one is you can also close at a higher fee.
Yeah.
Right. So the other thing that happens is like, when I first started out, people were saying, hey, Bobby, do you coach or consult? And I was like, no, I'm a speaker. And they're like, well, we'll pay you. I'm like, oh, let's have a call. And I originally back in the day, I was charging $125 an hour. And eventually, very soon, I doubled it to $250, and I was still getting clients. It was crazy. I was like, this is okay. People want me to do this. So you can charge more for speaking. You can charge more for coaching, consulting. You can charge more for your programs. And that also is why it's so profitable for your business. And then if you're a corporate person, yeah, when you're applying for new jobs or you're trying to start some sort of startup and get funding, you're trying to get the attention of people for network and collaboration and partnerships. Because of that branding, you get way more trust and more ease of closing those things. So that entire process from start to the end is phenomenal for the brand of TEDx.
It's one of the things, and I'm going to bring this up because you said the word trust a lot of times. We're in what we call the trust recession right now. And, this is what people do. They start to look before they invest their money. People invest money still. That's still out there, but they're making decisions much differently. So just like you said, John, 2-time TEDx speaker, right? That puts a little validation. Okay, he's been out in public. He spoke about something. Let me go check that out. Then you start to see the next things. And then look at you with the, with your prices increasing. That's a whole nother area, because when you start to increase prices, that means you have more trust going out there, and you keep on doing that, and you've built that all through the TEDx journey.
And let's talk about the trust thing, because I used to always say TEDx is to build your authority. I talk a lot about trust now. Why? Because, I think the biggest reason now is because of AI.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AI slop out there. And no one knows what's real, what's not real. And so speaking has always been something that's real. Getting on a call with us right now, this is
real.
The other day I was actually, someone sent me a podcast. Hey, you should sign up and check this podcast. And then I looked at it and I was like, wait a second. And then I found out, I dug a bit and I was like, this is an AI. These are made up people.
Yeah.
Having a podcast talk about whatever they want. I was like, why would I want to do that? I couldn't believe it. So so we are not AI. No, we're not.
No, I guarantee you that I'll cut my hair right now. Well, there's none.
Yeah. Do I really want to look like this? I mean, So I mean, the AI thing has caused a lot of distrust, and so if you do a TEDx talk, that breaks through the clutter of the AI distrust, because
Yeah.
TEDx, we know, are real live events in person. And when you get a call with me or you see my TEDx talk snippet, let's say you see a 30-second snippet of me on a TEDx stage, that's a real person talking. It's not AI.
Yep.
And TEDx is also very good at, kiboshing any AI slop around TEDx stuff. They don't like that kind of stuff. They're really big. Hey, shut this down. So the TEDx stuff out there is real, and so trust is now what you need to build that deeper connection. The authority is basically, what, I feel that this person can help me get the result I want, or
Yeah.
I should listen to them because they know what they're talking about. But the trust is that, what, I feel like this is the way to go. And so that's why trust is so important nowadays.
Well, also too, when it comes to that, like even take the 5-day challenge we do. We
Right.
really what we know is we help build trust along the way in that process. And
Yes.
really it's the trust in the person themselves before it's a trust in you, Bobby. It's themselves. Will I do this? Can I do this? Do I really want to do this? Am I right? And then, I spent the last 5 days with Bobby. Bobby's the guy that can help me here. I now actually know he delivers on his promises. So it's kind of cool that we're doing this dual with, let's do the 5-day challenge, build that mechanism for both you and them. But then also when they get out to the world and they do the TEDx, then boom, everything starts to amplify from there.
Yeah. So the 5-day challenge is something that you've been doing for a long time, and you're the expert in this. Yeah, it is a big trust building exercise, because we are spending a lot of time with each other, and we're showing our process, and we're investing in the people that are there. Because like the people who are there and speak up and get help, we're there taking them along the way of the journey. So
Yeah.
maybe you can talk a bit about that. Talk about what the power of the 5-day challenge.
Oh gosh. So like the power of a 5-day challenge in general is, I'm a cyclist, so you're going to get a little bit of a bike analogy here. I
Sure.
apologize, but all right, you're going to go do a 100-mile bike race. And if you're going to go try to figure that out on your own, it's going to get real sloppy and messy, and you may or may not get to that finish line. What this 5-day challenge does is take that down to a 10-mile bike race. Quite frankly, more like a 5-mile bike race, right? Okay, let's get what needs to be put in place before we start to go for the big race. Because guess what? That big race is going to get a little bit easier because we're going to get all this in place. So it's kind of cool how we design this 5-day challenge. And, I've done almost 200 of these things, right? So I've been in these, I've seen what works and quite frankly, what doesn't work. But one of the first things we work with you on is this TEDx right for you? And I love that, because it helps you really get a grasp. Yeah, this makes sense for me. You know what? This might not make sense for me. But what we work on a lot, and you might laugh, is the mindset, because mindset is huge. And that's one of the biggest things I love about 5-day challenges, because people come into things with false beliefs. They hear things. So how can we break those false beliefs? How can we let them know that we're worthy? They're worthy. And that's one of the things I love about your challenge, Bobby. We have people come in, like your first day in a 5-day challenge, everybody's a little quiet. And then all of a sudden we get towards the end of the day, people start speaking. They come back day 2. Holy cow, let's get all in. Now, that's why I like a 5-day challenge, because you start to get people to get that buy-in, to get that confidence to show up and play full out. And then what we do each day is we give little mini wins, something that you're as an attendee going to get that'll take you to the next level. Yeah. So we actually, in Bobby's challenge, the next thing we work on is, let's build the vision around your big idea. See, I've been in these challenges with Bobby, and I see people come with massive ideas. And then I see people come in with ideas that Bobby makes massive. Okay. So we work with you on that. And then we help you find the right story to take that vision and convert it out there and get it on stage. That's what we do on day 3. And then here's the thing a lot of people miss. And Bobby, I think you should talk about this a little bit more, is your brand, right? We bring that all together. How do you build your brand around this? And John's a perfect example. Like, you could probably just get John on here another time and talk about that, right? But in 5 days,
definitely watch his testimonial video. He'll tell you exactly why what we're doing is amazing.
Yeah, what's really cool, all these things we're talking about on the page, you'll see testimonial videos. You can look these people up on LinkedIn. You can DM them before you sign up for the challenge. Like, okay, this is for me. But ultimately, the reason I love this is because we get to watch transformation in the attendees. And we've done this one enough. Like Bobby said, we used to do this every other month for, I think, 2 years straight. We were crazy with this thing. And now Bobby's just like, you know what? He wanted to test something else. And he approached me about a month and a half ago and said, hey, I want to do this challenge again because I want to really help as many people as I can. And we decided to do it over the summer when people are a little bit quieter and it's easier to attend something like this. So what did I miss, Bobby? I could talk about this all the time.
Let's talk about day 4, which is the branding piece. So what that is really the leveraging of the TEDx talk, right? So the way I have is I kind of have a 4-pillar system, and the first 3 are designed to help you land the TEDx talk. Now, in the challenge, the first 3 days are taking you and showing you kind of those pillars over the first 3 days. But then on day 4, it's really what pillar 4 is about, which is the leverage. Because how do we leverage it for you to become a paid speaker? But some people want to become paid speakers. How do we leverage it to help you get media and podcast interviews out there? How do we leverage it for your lead gen system for building your business and growing your business at higher fees and better leads? How do we do it for building your C-suite brand out there that's going to impact your organization, your company, things like that? So the leverage piece is, and the authority building aspect with your brand is incredibly important, because look, there are many ways to build your authority and brand and trust and thought leadership, right? You can write a book, you can have a content strategy, you can use your network, if you can afford it, you can have paid ads. But if you don't take the time to leverage that stuff, it's not going to work. I could do paid ads, but if I don't respond to the calls properly, then paid ads are going to be useless. I could launch a book, but if I don't leverage the book and as part of my brand, then it's gonna flop. We don't care about the book for sales. We care about the book for branding and leveraging. Content strategy also takes a very long time to get to a point, but you can get to a point where people know and like and trust you and want to work with you. Same with written materials. Speaking is one of the best ways to get out there. Being on a panel, being an industry event, people like that. There's authority and trust building. So I think that's really incredibly important. So I think that's something you got to be able to do too. But what I tell people is this, and I say speaking is the second best way to really get your name out there as an industry thought leader in business or in C-suite. But what I'll tell you this though, TEDx is the best for this reason. It's the least amount of time invested, about 30 to 50 hours of your time, over the shortest timeline period of 3 to 9 months, for the greatest amplification of your brand. Right? So the shortest amount of time invested in the shortest timeline for the greatest amplification of your authority, trust, and brand. Because a book is longer, content strategy is longer, networking is longer. Now, paid ads is the only one that can be faster, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Big time.
So when you do a TEDx talk, you can while you're building up your brand, you're also landing paid speaking gigs, and all of a sudden you've made all this money while you're building your brand. So for me, that's why TEDx is so powerful, and I encourage you guys to check out the TEDx July challenge we're doing and be part of it. And I'll address another thing too. If you can't make every day, don't worry about it. Everything's recorded. There's people who show up for 2 days and then they come on the last day or whatever, or they watch the replays. It's totally fine. Don't worry about it. It's you're just being there and getting access to me and Chris and the videos, I think, are incredibly important. And I'm gonna throw a question at you, Chris, because I think a lot of people who want to do TEDx challenges are struggling with their business or struggling with their speaking. I know you're really good at sales, so can you share a little bit of insights into sales?
Yeah, I mean, I've spent 25 plus years in corporate sales, selling multi-million-dollar deals, and then also out on my own for almost 9 years now. And I've learned a lot. I've helped over 250 clients over the last 9 years and all around selling. And one of the things that I have seen over the years is what people look for is transformation. They want to know, I start here, where do I get? And I can tell you in the market we're in now, we talked a little bit about trust. The faster you can get people with results, the more they're going to continue onward with you. So, I mean, a little hint from working with clients big time is how quick can you get somebody a solid result that they feel? Then they're willing to invest more with you. But what I love about the process that we do here is you give people an opportunity to get an experience with you before you start. So there's a book out there called The Experience Economy.
Okay.
And I'm a cyclist. And when somebody lets me go ride, I'm just going to use a brand, a Trek, a new mountain bike, the Superfly. Okay. That's what I'm looking at right now. I'll just leave it at that. Right. But if I get to go ride that on my trails and I'm in buying mode and I like that bike, guess what happens? Boom. So what you need to do in this marketplace more and more, because we've talked with AI, the noise, is build opportunities of experiences for people to get into your world. So trust is built. Because once that happens, everything gets easier. Be able to have your message so succinct that they actually know, okay, I work with Bobby. Here's what's going to happen. Here's the experience. Here's how I feel. You got to work into people's internal emotions. You got to make them feel what it's going to feel like when this is successful. and then go deliver, get receipts, right? That's the biggest thing with sales. Like everybody can go say, I can do this, this, and this. Go deliver for your clients. Bobby's put enough people on stage that he's confident he can do it. I've helped enough people convert clients through virtual events. I'm confident I can do it. That didn't come with a lot of trial. That came with a lot of trial and error. But what I will say in this world, the more you can give people that experience right now to get in your world and see what you're about, the easier this word selling is going to be, because selling is serving to me. You serve first.
Yeah.
And this is what Bobby's going to do. He's going to serve you for 5 days straight with the benefit of me being there.
Yeah, and one thing that we do, like, look, if you're willing to click the link and get on the calls with us, we are going to go out of our way during that time period, those 5 days, to support you. Like we've been on calls that have gone long, and we just stay and we answer questions and we support people and we workshop them things, because if you invest and you come to this thing and you're with us, like, yeah, I'm willing to go as much as I can. And the same thing happens for my clients. Like I had a call, like in my TEDx program, I have 3 weekly calls, and one of the calls, several people showed up and we didn't finish in the hour. I said, look, I have a hard stop, but you want to do this tomorrow, guys? When are you guys free? And then we booked a call the next day and we just did it, because like that's the type of person I am.
Yep.
And so I think that's really important. And actually, I want to address something else which is interesting. And because Chris said I've changed things. One thing I've changed is I guarantee the result. How do I possibly guarantee that you'll land a TEDx talk? Well, look, it's about doing the work. So what I'll say is that if you do the work and follow my methodology precisely, I guarantee you'll land a TEDx talk in 6 months. And why do I say that? It's because at this point, 100% success rate. Every single person who's followed my methodology has landed a TEDx talk. Now, there are some who delayed, or life happened or whatever, but they came back to it. Like I like Dr. Ivy, she had a delay, but then she came back, and within a month, boom, got her TEDx talk, right, which is great. Actually, I'm going to address another thing, because it comes up. Someone messaged me, hey, you're not allowed to guarantee TEDx talks. That's against the rules. Blah blah. Let's talk about this. So TED is very, very particular about certain things. You are not allowed to sell spots on the stage. So an organizer can't say, hey, if you pay me $1,000, I'll put you on the stage. Yeah. Or if I sponsor you $5,000, you put me on the stage. Or a PR company says, hey, we will pay for a spot to get you on stage. You can't, that's not allowed. What I'm essentially doing is I'm guaranteeing my process, right? So the origin of this was I help people become paid speakers, and I showed them a process of how to get speaking gigs and get paid. And eventually I guarantee that process. You know what? I will guarantee you get 3 paid speaking gigs through my process. And one of the guys, Daniel Rotary, he did that. He's like, Bobby, I just did what you said and it worked. Great. Yeah. And so I just took that same process and I just adjusted it for the TEDx journey, in terms of how to come with right ideas, the application, how to find events, how to do the research, how to build relationships, but how to increase your chances and multiply chances 10x so that you can do it. So because my process is what I'm guaranteeing. The process will guarantee the result if you do the work. That's all it is. I'm just coaching people on best practices on what to do. And that's kind of how it works. The ones who don't get the talks and they're like, well, I didn't get a talk. Okay, fine. Show me, process 1, 2, and 3. And then, oh, I didn't do 2 and I did half of 3. And well, that's why you didn't get the talk. Like you got to follow my process. So, and in the challenge, I will show you my exact process, step by step, how it all works. What are the must-haves? What are the bonus things to do? All those different things. So I think that's something that is important to address, because it comes up once in a while, and I want to make sure people, and I want to have a record now that this is me talking about it and just saying, look, I'm just taking my guaranteed process for landing a paid speaking gig, and now I've adjusted for TEDx talk. Now, there's some things I can't guarantee. I'm not going to guarantee 1 million views on your posts, because that's something you can't guarantee unless
nobody can guarantee that
unless you really hack the system. But there are things I can guarantee.
Yeah, no, and I think, I've seen you work with enough clients, and Bobby talked about staying extra. This guy does stay extra. There's times I'm on with him like, hey, I got to cut off. You keep on going, right? Because that's how Bobby is when you're in his world. And here's the great thing. It's a month from now. We're giving you plenty of notice. It's July 27th. I don't think we mentioned that. It goes from 11:30 to 12:30 Eastern each day. And like Bobby said, we have a community page. If you're gonna miss a day, it's all recorded, and you
Right.
just watch it when you can. We have people that do that. I'd say most do show up live, but hey, everybody has something that goes on. So if you miss it, you're going to get the recording of it. And then you want to show up on the Friday too, because Bobby leaves an open Q&A. Right? You just come, and that's the other thing I love how we design this. We go through this process the whole week, and then the final day is, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have questions no matter what. Show up to that. Bobby will walk you through that. So, Bobby, we're right about, wow, we actually went over 30 minutes. That's odd for you and I. But I'll let you close this up. I'm going to highlight you so you can speak a little bit, and then just stay with me when you're done.
Yeah, so let me just share a bunch of things here that are important. So first off, let's start with the first thing, which with the barriers to doing a TEDx talk. Most people have a mindset that they can't do a TEDx talk. Anyone can do a TEDx talk. 10-year-olds have done TED Talks. 18-year-olds have done 4 TEDx Talks. It's about having the right, it's not about achievement, success, or status. It's about having the right idea, story, topic, and title. It's about having the right pitch, knowing where to pitch, and then working with me or doing it on your own to try to follow the methodology that I've created for you to do it. So that there's a certain way to do it that has a much higher effectiveness rate. And the other things that stop us is they can't come with the right idea. That's why they work with a coach or with our program. They can't figure out where to find events. That's why we help them with our list. We have a list actually of 7,000 TEDx events in the last 3 years, including all the way up to the end of December this year. And so we help you with those types of things. The other thing, of course, people struggle with is, I don't know how to actually pitch. People will share their TEDx idea or their pitch, and like, this is off. You're like, your idea is too vague or broad. I want to talk about love. I want to talk about sales. That's not good enough. It's got to be a unique angle. I want to tell my entire life story. No, they just want a snippet of your story. And then when they pitch it, they're like, no, you're answering the questions the wrong way. Like, you have to think about the organizer. So there's different ways to do that. And so this is what I'm going to take you through on the entire process. And then, of course, the most important part is, what do you want to do the TEDx for? Are you trying to build your business? Trying to get more paid speaking? Trying to get on media and podcasts? Are you trying to launch a book or amplify that book? Are you trying to elevate your C-suite brand? Are you trying to launch a new startup and as a founder? All these reasons are why TEDx is going to be so helpful for you to do it. So I encourage you to click the link up there, see what it's all about. Because as I said before, as someone who's done every single thought leadership, authority building tactic, because I've done paid ads, I've done it. TEDx is the best way to amplify your authority, your trust, your brand, and get the results you want. And on top of that, it's great branding. It looks good on your profile, looks good on your website. And when the TEDx talk comes out and you share snippets of that video, that is amazing credibility and lead magnet stuff for you. So that's really what we're talking about here. So I encourage you to take a look at the challenge and feel free to DM me and Chris with any sort of questions you have about this. But yeah, it's a month away. I have a lot of time to prepare for this. And if you do show up, you'll know that I'm going to show up. One of the things that everyone knows about me is that for people who join me on things, whether they're my clients or for a TEDx challenge or whatever, I am there 100% and I give everything I can. And because I understand, I've been there on the other opposite side of things. And so that's my brand. I'm responsive. I respond very quickly. I respond thoroughly. I'm there deeply. And I make everything accessible as best I can to help you succeed and be successful. The question is whether you want to do the work or not, or whether you want to step or show up. But those who do show up, they get it and they make it. So that's my spiel.
Awesome. So Chris was hiding in the background, just letting Bobby be highlighted there. So scan before we disappear here. Just scan. I saw a few of you scan. We look forward to seeing you on there. You'll probably see Bobby pop up again another time, doing a few more lives on this, because we have a whole month to really get the message out there. But we wanted to start this now because we know it's summertime, right? We want to make sure this gets on your calendar in an easy way. So we thank all that came on live. And like I said, if you're on Team Replay, just let us know. We'll go back and check the comments. Bobby, stay with me. I'm going to sign us